Yo, what is up? Spirit be blood, joined by this man right here, Big Money Drew, and ladies and gentlemen, we're not on tonight to hype up anything or to be, out there. We're actually just coming on today because Drew and I have been having this on discussion all day today about the crazy AEW Dynamite news, and as reported by SP3 from True Hill Heat, apparently the involved in the backstage brawl will not be on the September 7th AEW Dynamite edition, which is going to be really stupid because the new world heavyweight champion isn't going to be on TV. The first ever world trios champion are going to be on TV. Um, dude, what's going on, Drew?
I'm gonna say I'm honestly okay with that because it's probably not a good idea for them to be on TV right now, just with everything that's been going on. I don't think we need we don't need another hot mic moment. With tempers start flaring. I think maybe take this week off. Just do some video packages to hype up the matches that happened at All Out, and then next week, hopefully things have smoothed over by then. Next week they can be on TV.
So much stuff has gone crazy. I mean, CM Punk is your new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Apparently, very upset. If you guys watched last night, if you guys know, CM Punk went off on tangent of the EVPs, about Hangman Page, about Colt Cabana, about all types of craziness. Apparently, after his comments, he was approached by Kenny Omega and the Bucks in his locker room, and a melee ensued with a steel, with one person being reportedly struck in the face with the steel chair. Not wrestling wise, just someone yeeted a chair at Nick Jackson of the Bucks. Today, there's been backstage news about this. WWE guys have backstage news. Cole, about things. There's more about an altercation backstage. A lot of AEW stars believe that CM Punk could be fired after this.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on the top guy being fired after this situation?
It's in my gut right now. I kind of feel like that's the case. Or he quit. He either quit or he got fired. Is in my gut right now is what's happening, because there's a lot of cryptic emoji tweets out there from the normal people in the wrestling world that just, it doesn't seem to be a small little minute thing of like, oh, Tony talked to the parties and they've agreed to come together and fix this. It seems like there's some blowback. It seems like there's some people threatening to leave. Possibly a lawsuit if, people who were struck or bitten want to pursue that. Somebody bit somebody in a fucking melee in a backstage thing in 2022. Somebody bit someone. So
I mean, come on, like Tyson Buster Douglas shit right here. Like, let me bite your ear off,
Yeah, crazy. So I'm thinking probably my gut is telling me, and I think I saw a Phil Lindsay tweet today also, where he says kind of getting that feeling that I think Punk is done with AEW, and that's just really, it's mind-boggling to even say that, since we only just passed the full calendar year of him returning to wrestling and coming to AEW. It's really unfortunate if this is how it ends, because it would be nice for Punk to kind of. I tweeted this today. I said earlier this afternoon that this is. I think this is Punk's defining moment. I think this is the time where he could really benefit. He could really benefit from doing the exact opposite of what he would normally do, which is not just say fuck this and leave, or just be petty and hold these grudges. I think it's time for him to not hold the grudges anymore. Release the grudges, release the pettiness. The past is in the past. It's time for him to own up to what he did, apologize to who he needs to apologize to. Because look, a lot of reports have come out today by a lot of reputable people. Nobody is really on Punk's side right now. There's a very, very limited amount of people in the AEW locker room that are on Punk's side right now. With some people, I think you just said, some people saying that they wouldn't be surprised if he was fired. So, like, he would have to make some serious amends and just own up to his fault in this. I mean, because really, a lot of people are at fault here. We talked about this yesterday. A lot of people are at fault here, but Punk's the one that started it. There may have been people going and saying things to people here and saying things to people there, but the only reason why we are on day 2, like a full almost 48 hours of this being the hottest topic in wrestling right now, is because Punk started going in on Colt Cabana at the scrum.
And that didn't make any sense to me. That's like me saying, man, when I was fucking 6 years old, this little kid ran over my foot on his bike, and now I hate that little kid. And that little kid, I don't care if he eats, sleeps, or shits or pisses anywhere. What the fuck did that have to do with what the price of tea in China?
Yeah,
that he honestly, man. Here's my thought on that too. You say he needs to let go. I think Punk needs to literally just let it all go. Like he needs to just look, go in a room and just go, just let go, let loose, and then you'll be fine. Because you can't keep holding it in. Because as long as you're holding in, meltdowns like this shit that just happened on Sunday will continue to happen. Right. And obviously, it's not good for business.
Oh, definitely not. But you see, this is why I was saying what I was saying on yesterday's show. He has obviously been holding this in for years now. And what I forgot to mention yesterday was that I think it was Tony Khan had just mentioned Colt Cabana in the Forbes interview that he did last week. Because I don't remember if he was asked about it or what it was. I don't remember the whole thing. But Colt's name had just been brought up. So it's not like Punk truly mentioned his name out of the blue. It was out of the blue for that specific scrum because he was not asked the question. But the idea, the topic of Colt Cabana was already being floated around because of the Tony Khan Forbes interview. So naturally, when he's sitting there, it makes you wonder now, was some of that directed at Tony Khan? Not necessarily
Wow, I didn't think of that.
Not necessarily obviously he didn't mention Tony by name, and he did say to Tony that he didn't need to say no comment when Tony was saying, "Oh, I should just said no comment, whatever," and he said to Tony, "No, you didn't have to do that." So I don't know if this was fresh in Punk's mind because Tony brought it up in the Forbes interview, or if I mean that's what I just need to assume, because there's no other reason in my mind that would have been brought up. Obviously, that reporter, I think Nick Hausman from Wrestling Inc.
Mm-hmm.
He would. This is literally like, so you. And again, I'm going to say this again. I said it yesterday, but I have to say it again. Punk was not asked about Colt Cabana. The scrum starts on the AEW feed on their YouTube. It starts with him addressing the reporter, and it would lead you to assume that the reporter asked him about Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
But if you go onto other people's feeds who were at the scrum, specifically Denise Salcedo's, who had an excellent feed, excellent audio of the scrum, Punk sits down. I think her feed must have started like 15 seconds before the AEW feed did. Punk sits down, Nick Hausman speaks, and Punk immediately starts going at him with what you hear him say in the AEW feed. So Punk wasn't addressing Nick Hausman because Nick asked him a Colt Cabana question. He just started going off. And it led to a 15, 16 minute long tirade on Colt Cabana's poor mother for some reason. And then turning into the EVPs and the empty-headed dumb fuck Hangman Adam Page. Punk's words, not mine, if you didn't hear that. Literally called Hangman Adam Page an empty-headed dumb fuck in front of everybody. And Tony Khan, who in his awkward state is just looks like he's cringing inside from his facial, but also nodding for some reason. He nodded throughout the entire Punk tirade, which was very strange. Not something that I would have done. It kind of seemed like it. You could see from his face, except for that one point, and I don't remember what it was now, but I mentioned it yesterday, where Punk said something, but then Tony Khan had that weird facial reaction to it. I don't remember what the comment was. I think it was about.
It was but he wants me to keep working with these
pricks or something.
Yeah, he wants me to keep working these fucking pricks. Yeah.
Yeah. That was what it was.
Who needs to fix their sound?
It might be you, because I don't know if it was. It's not your sound. It's that you kind of you cut in and out a little bit. So I don't know if that was. I thought that was just me, but if somebody else is saying that, unless you're talking about me, I don't know. John, who are you talking about? Me or Bad Blood?
Okay, is that better?
You're sounding better, but there's moments in time where you kind of.
It was the fan behind me. Yeah, there was a fan going on behind me.
Oh, I thought it was that you're maybe something was up with your internet, because you kept cutting in and out.
No, not this time.
Okay. Yes, he did call MJF a prick also. A young prick, or I don't remember what the exact word was.
Fucking prick. You're working these fucking pricks. Yeah, that's why he looked at him like, what? Why would you say that? And then he went to the whole, I brought MJF back because he's great and this, and this. And he's like, well, yeah, Tony wants me to defend the title against these fucking pricks. It's like, dude, like, like, on, bro.
Yeah. It was
Like,
very
I
like
don't
passive.
understand.
It was a very passive aggressive sort of comment because he says, "Oh, Tony wants me to work with these fucking pricks," but then also says,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, he's the boss."
I don't understand it.
Oh, we're both cutting out? Am I cutting out also?
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, let's see here. But you're gonna call someone on their mouse page when the Bucks have been. You know what? Here's the thing. Okay, so let's cut. Let's get right into it. The Bucks. The Bucks talk shit. Okay, the Bucks talk shit.
I would say they are
Kenny Omega
excellent
talk
shit
shit.
talkers.
Yes, they talk shit. Kenny Omega talk shit. CM Punk talk shit. What it sounds like to me is that one person is sick and tired of someone talking shit, so they got up in
Right.
someone's face. And here's what Dave Meltzer said on the Wrestling Observer Radio. An update via Wrestling Observer Radio. Several people, including sources that allege that Punk started things by swinging fists at AC Steel, Ace Steel, allegedly threw a dare to hit Nick Jackson in the eye. Also, reportedly, that Steel grabbed Kenny and bit him and grabbed his hair. Okay. Now, Fightful Select also said that several longtime AEW stars have also said that they don't see how Punk can't be let go after this. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
But it also know that appear to be conflicted views as to who started it, with one source saying that the Buck and Kenny Omega started it by rushing to Punk's locker room. Now, I've read stories that said Punk was in his locker room, tired, beat up after a match. The Bucks came banging on his door after the shit that was talked about them in the media scrum. That's where it all started. But then one person also said that fucking Kenny that Bucks were sitting down in the hallway making fun of CM Punk, and CM Punk walked up and started swinging on people. Rumors,
Yeah.
rumors. If you weren't there, if you don't know what happened, don't go on Facebook. Don't be like that fucking that Gareth fucking WWE Gareth fucking asshole, or the other dude who goes on Twitter and creates a toxic environment by creating their own narrative as to what happened when they weren't
Right.
even there. It's ridiculous. It's making wrestling media look bad. Now, there's all been on Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio that it's known that no one in AEW is allowed to talk about what happened because there are pending legal issues. They're saying
Right.
this is not a work. This is a real fucking thing. So okay, it's a real thing. Shit happened.
Definitely a real thing.
It's a real thing.
What
Okay.
happened? What this another thing is too. What happens is that, and this is what happened with the MJF thing 3 months ago. The MJF thing was legitimate. It was a shoot,
Mhm.
but with it being a shoot, both sides came to terms, came to an agreement, and the shoot became a work. But it was never a work from the start. And the problem with a lot of wrestling fans these days is they just say everything's a work. Everything's a work. This person has beef with this person. It's a work. Britt and Thunder Rosa work. Punk, Hangman work. MJF, Tony work. Everything's a work. It's not. Things can actually not be a work, but then turn into a work afterwards. Because people go, hey, you know what? We've come to an agreement. Now let's make money off of this. And I tell you, I said this yesterday on the show yesterday. The MJF thing was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was never the way that I could have even imagined doing it. The Symphony of the
Exactly.
Devil, him coming out in the mask, not revealing himself until later on in the night after Punk wins. Just brilliant. It's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And yesterday I was under the pretense of the news of Punk and the Elite didn't squash it for me. And it still was a good thing, and it still was something memorable that I could like call back to and be like, "Oh, this was great."
Mm-hmm.
Today, I feel a little bit differently about it because yesterday I wasn't thinking of Punk not being in the company anymore. Today, it feels like something major is happening based off of a lot of, not even from Dave's reports or PW Insider or Sean Ross Sapp, the vagueness on Twitter from everybody in the wrestling media feels like a gigantic thing is happening with AEW. Possibly not in a good way. And my gut feeling, like I told you, my gut feeling is that Punk either quit or got fired. Even though he's the brand new champion, even though he's only been in the company for one single year, August 20th to September 6th. You know, overlapping, 1 year, August 20th,
Exactly.
2021 to 2022, and then a couple of weeks more. I just have this gut feeling that Punk is out of AEW by him either quitting or Tony Khan firing him. That ruins the
So
MJF angle.
exactly. There was a report that said you can't expect a lot of people here to have a positive things to say about Punk, and I think he's aware of that, and he's probably come to peace with it. One talent even actually said, "I worked with Punk in the past. I feel like he's trying to run things here. It looks like he's doing it. Look, all bullshit aside, that press conference, CM Punk was running the show. If you guys, and I
100%.
always say this, and I want people to listen and hear what I'm saying. Don't just listen to me, hear what I'm saying. When Punk was talking, he said this very venomous, very like like viciously. I'm trying to run a company here. No, I'm trying to run a business here. You're not the boss. So what business are
So
you trying to run?
I don't know what he exactly meant by that comment though, because I did think about that when he said that. Um, and a lot of wrestlers talk about wrestling as a business, doing business
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So I didn't, when I heard it the the first time, and still to this day to now, I don't take that as he thinks he's running AEW. I took that as he's doing business. So not that he's
Well,
running the company, but that because he's the champion and he's involved in he's the top guy and he's involved in the storyline, he is doing business. So, but his wording of that scrum was very erratic. So who knows? I mean, anything that he could have been saying in that scrum can be taken out of context. Anything can be twisted into something that it wasn't. Because he apologized to Nick Hausman after starting to go in on him for the Colt Cabana improv thing, and said, fuck you to the media who were pushing him being the reason why Colt Cabana wasn't on AEW TV anymore, and then said, I apologize if you weren't involved in that, to whomever. By the way, that poor kid AJ Awesome was there, as I found out later. That's like, Jesus Christ, that's not something that he needed to be involved in at all. um,
man.
but he's like a 12-year-old kid or something.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so my gut feeling is that Punk is out of AEW, and that ruins the MJF storyline, because the whole thing of MJF's return, or his leaving even, was that he is worth as much as guys like Punk, and Tony Khan doesn't want to fork over the money for him because he wants to save that money for all the ex-WWE guys that he's hiring. That was in the promo. So, and I'll always remember like the fan shots of after that promo, because I went back and watched the people who were recording it in the crowd that night. CM Punk was the one that came out, and this was the night that he broke his foot. So this all happened in that same night. That's the night that he took the dive, broke his foot, and then wrestled the match and pulverized the bone. And that later on, Punk comes out when MJF is finished with that promo, when his mic gets cut. That's not on TV, but in the fan videos from who were in the crowd.
Yeah, he came out wearing one boot.
Yeah. And then MJF leaves through the crowd instead of going to the back. So Moxley never made comments. No, he didn't. But some wrestlers, I don't hear all wrestlers talk that way. But I have definitely 100% heard, like, especially when I watched the shoot interviews of like wrestlers from the past or people from the past, like Kevin Nash, Jim Cornette, all those people, they say they're doing business. And for Bad Blood, that. That's the common wrestling phrase. It's like
so what that means when we say we're doing business, that means we're working together. Like right now, you and I are doing business right now. We're doing what's best for business. But when they say,
right,
hey, CM Punk went into business for himself, like he kept saying that Hangman Adam Page went into business for himself. Sometimes people go into business for themselves that like don't want to put the other person over. Or classic example, Hogan versus Warrior, WrestleMania. Warrior pins Hogan. 1, 2, Hogan kicks out at the 3. Referee still counts 3. Right? Hogan gets up, grabs the belts. The Warrior just won the match. The Warrior's he's soaking in the accolades. He's the new champion. He's the first ever WWF Intercontinental and World Heavyweight Champion at the same time. He's walking around, getting all humped up, right? Hogan had to kill it by getting out of the ring, grabbing the belts, getting back in the ring, handing the Warrior the belts, and then fucking doing his pose. Dude, why don't you just take that dude's heat?
Right.
That right there is all going into business for yourself. I watched the match last night just to get my mind right when it came to CM Punk versus Hangman Adam Page, and I did not see it. And I'm a wrestler. I'm not just a fan. I'm not just I'm not just a armchair quarterback. I'm actually in the ring doing it.
Right.
So I know when I can see when someone's gone into business for themselves. I did not see that with Hangman Adam Page. So, it could be, you know what I mean? I don't think it would be acknowledged on Dynamite at all. You baby, you joined us a little too late, but basically what's happening is none of the guys that were involved are going to be on the September 7th edition of Dynamite.
And that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing.
Here's my question. Could Punk have done this to turn heel and bring heat?
You can do the thing in the scrum, but the stuff after the scrum, that is in no way a good way to turn heel and bring heat. That's bad. That's bad business right there. If that's business at all, that's bad business.
Some people turn a work, and they turn a shoot into a work. The only way I see this shoot turned into a work is if Punk comes back with FTR with Wardlow, and they form their own little Son of Bret Hart clique, and they face off against the elite with Maxwell
Possible.
Jacob Freeman. That's the only way you can see this as a work turn. I mean, a shoot turn into a work, because it's okay. I hate to be the guy who say this, because I hate for someone to lose their job. I really hate for lose their job in this industry. But if Punk can't apologize for his part, and the Bucks can't apologize for their part, fuck them all. Because they just ruined something great because of their fucking egos. Sometimes swallowing that bitter pill, man. You want to talk about doing business? What's best for business? What's best for business is squashing this fucking junior high school heat and producing the best fucking wrestling shows you can.
Right.
Like that's it.
Sean Ross Sapp tweeted something earlier today in regards to what you just said, and it was an excellent thing. Something that somebody in WWE told him. Where I gotta read it because it's very, very true. Hold on. He tweeted so much today, Jesus Christ.
Fans, stop going after Sean Ross Sapp. Stop fucking stressing him out. The dude's doing his fucking job. You know what I'm saying?
10,000 subscribers if I select today.
10,007. Yeah.
Well, even more than that now. It's at like 10. It's at like, I think, actually, I could show you the number on my phone. I can show you the number. Hold on. So it was like 5 hours ago, it was at 10,007. Now it is.
Damn.
10,584.
10,584.
So,
man, that's
yeah.
crazy.
Fightful Select is the place to be right now. But yeah, I can't find the tweet, but I'm gonna paraphrase. They said something to the effect of the person in WWE told him that if they can't find a way to make money off of this, they can't talk about anybody drawing anything. Because it's such an easy it's such an easy thing to make money off of, because it's the hottest topic in wrestling right now. You can't leave money on the table here. You can't. You suck it up. And that's part of what I tweeted today. I said, look, Punk's got to own up to his problem or to his issue, apologize, make amends, and make money off of this thing. The AEW could turn into a totally different company based off of this interaction. But every party involved has to be willing to put their differences aside, make amends, and do that business. And the problem, and this is why, like I said, my gut is Punky the Quitter was fired. The problem is that what everybody says about CM Punk, he can't do that. Mm-hmm. It's not in his personality to make amends and apologize. He just holds grudges and holds on to that pettiness. So, like I said, my gut feeling is that Punk is out of AEW. I hope it's not that case, because I like him, even though he's an asshole, and a lot of people don't like him right now. I think he is, and it could be a little bit of bias too, just because who doesn't have bias on something these days? It's not like I'm the only one, but the the first dance was so special last year. It was
Wasn't
like
that the
the
first $1 million
greatest.
house?
It was that, and it was a something that was never done before. Selling out, legitimately selling out a building based off of a rumor that somebody was going to show up. A
Bro, hold that thought.
20,000. Okay.
Hold that thought. Look at this. I say get the title off Punk, give it to MJF, then make the kids get along. Dude, fuck yes. You want to say, like you said, like me and you were talking about it earlier, this thing overshadowed Punk. I mean, MJF. It sucks.
Yeah.
It overshadowed MJF fucking coming back, right? Easy. Take the fucking belt off CM Punk. Give it to MJF. Let CM Punk prove that he can do work. You want me to work? Fine. I'll put this kid over, put the belt on him. I don't give a shit.
I mean, he did prove in a sense.
Speaking of kids.
In a sense,
Yeah,
he did
he can
prove with the Moxley squash. He did prove
so people
that
say he's not doing business. He proved he was doing business.
But and that's the thing. It's like Pickles fans have said. He's a diva. He's petty and holds grudges, and clearly that's what the start of the scrum was him talking, like, yes, he held in all his stuff about Colt Cabana, but he didn't have to say it like that.
Yeah.
And then mentioning Colt's mom and like airing out those grievances like that is like, that's unnecessary. But the Bucks and Kenny, either, no matter if they were standing outside his dressing room and banging on the door, almost kicking it down, or they just approached him in the hallway before he got to the dressing room, whatever it was, they are at fault for approaching him in that moment.
So, right when you said that, I just saw this. While there's a bit of sentiment running on both sides, with some saying Punk's comments clearly kicked off the situation, while others have noted that the elite should not have attempted to approach while tensions were so high. A large majority seem to indicate that Punk should have expected to be approached regarding his bold comments. Bro, if I say
in a professional
fuck you,
environment,
Drew, if I say fuck you, Drew, I'm expecting you to say fuck me back. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to expect it. But like you were saying, in a professional environment, shouldn't happen that way.
Because these guys aren't just wrestlers in the company. They're EVPs. You can't just, Stephanie McMahon, Nick Khan, Triple H, they can't just go into the locker room at WWE and start picking fights with Ricochet and Drew McIntyre and Alexa Bliss, and it doesn't work that way. When you're a EVP, when you're a top authority member in the company, you can't just be going doing shit like that. And that's why I said Punk was in the wrong for starting this, but they were in the wrong for bringing it to him in that moment. Tony Khan was also in the wrong for not stopping Punk from saying all the shit that he said. So nobody has any. You can't pick one person and say, oh, they did the right thing here. Nobody did the right thing. And it's unfortunate because Tony, at least, should have been able to, in that moment, take Punk and say, listen, you're obviously hot right now. Why don't you step away? Maybe come back later, or we just do this another time. We can't do this right now. He should have been able to do that. But as I said yesterday, he does not have the personality traits of a leader. And especially of an authority figure.
Yeah, that's a goddamn shame. You're supposed to be a locker
especially.
room leader,
It's
and everyone's pointing fingers at Punk. Let me point some fingers. Mac Jackson, EPs, right? You guys have executive positions in the company. I get that you're upset. I get you're pissed off. I get it. Totally get it. But don't start threatening to fucking leave the company because you're not getting your way. That sounds childish too. So
there's
everyone's
just
pointing fingers at
no.
Punk. Punk's a child. Punk's this. Punk's that. Well, hey, the Bucks same way. So shout out to Pickles fan. Pickles fan's having a baby today.
Oh,
So shout out
thank
to
you,
him.
Pickles fan. That's very nice.
Oh, Pickles fan has gifted a tier 1 sub also to Baby 316 and Taz Lady. Congrats. Thank you, Pickles fan. We love it.
Thank you.
We love it.
Um,
I mean,
yeah, so I
it's
agree with
crazy,
you
dude.
there.
Like seriously.
Yeah, I agree with
Like
you there.
there's so many wrong.
I hope. So now
I'm the part of the
this is a hope
security
of
homie
mine.
running out of the scrum.
This is a hope of mine, and I never thought I would say something like this. But I've been starting to kind of see the positive side of Chris Jericho as of late. I was very like down on Chris Jericho with the whole sports entertainer shit and other things that we won't talk about politically. But I have to say that Sean Ross Sapp reported this too, and I was starting to feel this before the report came out from Fightful Select. The Fightful Select report said that Chris Jericho is being applauded lately for his backstage, like taking on this like calm demeanor in a backstage role and kind of like mentoring some people. Like he talked at that big meeting a couple of weeks ago that the company had, and he was really applauded for his calm demeanor and him being able to really like show some level-headedness in a crazy time. It seems I have to go back and really like pump up the volume on the scrum, but it seemed that at the time that Chris Jericho came to the table, he was already aware that something was going on backstage. And you couldn't tell at all because he was so level-headed, he was so poised, and unusually out of character, if you noticed, because a lot of times Chris Jericho is hamming it up in those things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he was very calm and very out of character and put over MJF and was very level-headed, and that I applaud that. I really do. And my hope is that maybe he starts to become that in a more executive role, because he seems to really be able to be doing well in that department. And so if Chris Jericho could do that, maybe Dustin Rhodes, people who, these upper veteran experienced guys who, and I think already like, what's his name? Trustbuster guy. Not Trustbuster. Oh my God. I've had such a long week. I can't remember names anymore. Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt. is also
okay.
kind of like a backstage person as well. And he's got a lot of experience and he's well liked. That's great. Sanjay Dutt, Chris Jericho, Dustin Rhodes, Tony Schiavone. These are the type of people that you need in top positions who are able to really help out talent and I think should be elevated to roles where they are the people that people go to, that talent go to for issues, and it seems like at least with Chris Jericho can be a mediator. Chris Jericho he would be a great person for that role. So I hope that they do this, and this is part of like restructuring of the executive level of AEW out of this, because something positive at least has to come out of this, because this is just so negative right now, and nobody looks good. Nobody is getting over here because it's not a situation where anybody can get over. It's just a bullshit thing that happened and everybody is in the wrong, and it's people who should have known better. That's the worst part about it. It's people who should have known better and definitely should not have had it reach this level. Chris Jericho, thankfully he's level-headed. Hopefully he can do this, but Punk, who just won the top championship, should not be going in the scrum and fucking talking down about everybody in the company. The EVPs, the Bucks and Kenny Omega, should not be banging on somebody's door looking to... I mean, we don't know if they were looking to fight, but if you... Look, and this is why I said I don't necessarily blame Punk yesterday. If you are alone and 3 guys are angrily coming up to you and you have no defense except yourself, I don't blame him for swinging. I honestly don't. It's a human thing. It's a self-defense mechanism. That you can't blame Punk for, if that's the case. We don't know 100% who started what, if Punk was the one that swung, because yesterday it was reported that Punk swung first, and then you can say, absolutely, it's his fault. He should not have done that. But today...
yes, agreed.
Today, the report came out. Oh, hey, Pluggo.
Shout out to my boy Pluggo.
Today, the report came out that Kenny and the Bucks beelined right to his locker room and started banging on the door. Now I can't say, well, I totally blame Punk here. Now, Ace Steel, we haven't mentioned Ace Steel. He's obviously the one that bit Kenny Omega and pulled his hair. Fucking crazy.
What the fuck was that about?
It came out. I said this yesterday before it was officially reported, because I felt like this was what the reason was, and then it was later on reported. I think it was in the thing that I sent you. I don't remember. So Ace Steel's wife was in Punk's locker room looking after Punk's dog Larry. Now, if Punk was already in the locker room with her, and then the Bucks and Kenny came to the door and started banging and were ready to pick a fight, I understand Ace Steel's anger. His wife is in there. He's protective. I totally get it. That does not mean that I'm saying that I'm okay with the biting and the hair pulling.
That's ridiculous. Like, what the fuck does that?
That's just insane.
Like, who fucking does that?
On every level.
Oh my lord.
So even though he may have gotten angry because he didn't want there to be any type of a scuffle in the room with his wife there, that does not give you the right to bite and pull hair.
I mean, hey, man, some people like the hair pulled. Um,
Well,
Speaking of hair pulling, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back after this.
Drive me insane! All these rules are lame, have been taking all the fun out! Drive me insane! All these rules are lame, have been taking all the fun out! Drive me insane! All these
When you want to get your hair cut, you go get your hair cut right. You head down to Big D's Barbershop. Big D's Barbershop, Vancouver, Washington's best and brightest. 1019 Main Street, Vancouver, Washington, where you can go get your hair lined up, cuts, fades, shampoos, conditions, and all the great things that go with supporting a local barbershop in a local business area. You can also reach them online at www.bigdsbarbershop.com. Go get your haircut right.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
And we are back. We are back. We are back. Hey, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being in this crazy quick afternoon. So do me a favor, guys. I want you guys to go follow Drew on Twitter. How many followers are you away from your goal, your Twitter goal?
oh, well, thank you so much. I didn't have a Twitter goal, but I am already over 700 because the lovely Molly Bell retweeted me. Jameis retweeted me. It was very nice. Thank everybody. I started out this year with under 500 followers, and now I am at 708. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I hope I don't let you down. That's all I have to say if you follow me. Mainly, you're going to see me tweet a lot about men, and especially Jake something, because he's very attractive. And Jake something, please, I hope you don't see this because I'll be very embarrassed. So,
well, shit. I've already tagged Jake something in everything we do, so he's going to see it.
shit.
Oh, my God. Oh,
So,
okay. Andy King says, what are your thoughts on Punk? Look.
So now I'm going to ask you, what would be your course of action if you are Tony Khan?
Man, this is crazy. AEW is going to fail if they can't get their shit together. Oh, man. That's... If I were Tony Khan...
You already have somewhat of a experience of running, well, not somewhat, you have experience, legitimate experience, running a wrestling company, booking shows, booking talent. So
running weekly TV is hard.
You put yourself in Tony Khan's shoes now at the national level, global level, pretty much at this point.
If I put myself in Tony's shoes,
do it.
What would you do? I wouldn't have either of the parties on television tomorrow, which is a good thing. What I would do is I would do a conference call and I'll have the individuals on the conference call. And the first thing I would say is, listen, guys, this is a professional business. We need to conduct ourselves as businessmen. So can we all agree to sit here and hash this out like adult businessmen? And if I got backlash from any one of them, listen here, I'm the boss. One of two things are going to happen. One, we're going to solve this issue, or I'm just going to get rid of everyone. The Bucks and Kenny are like, well, I'm going to quit. CM Punk's like, well, I'm going to quit if I don't get my way. No. And like my mom always said, there's your truth, there's her truth, there's your truth, that's their truth, there's the truth. So somebody is wrong. Well, let me rephrase it. All parties are wrong. Someone needs to be the man and step up and apologize. I've apologized for things that I was like, I don't give a fuck. I know I'm right. But for the sake of business and for the sake of not being an egotistical prick, I put business before myself. So Punk, the Bucks, Omega, look at what you built. Look at what's there. For the first time in 30 years. Wait a minute. 20 years. For the first time in 20 years, there's a viable alternative to the WWE. You now have the keys to the kingdom. Don't fuck it up. You know, I was watching a video and Kenny and the Bucks, they all said they want to change the world. They want to change the wrestling world. Mm-hmm. They've been doing that. Punk has been gone for how long is Punk gone? 9 years? Something like that? 8 years? You did what Vince McMahon and a big bag of money couldn't do. You brought CM Punk out of retirement. Immediately selling out a fucking arena that, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, the WWE couldn't sell out the week before.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
WWE couldn't sell that building out, and they sold that building out in one fucking day. Think about the power you have right there.
A legitimate sellout.
Yes, legitimate. Not like, we 18,000 and there's only like 7,000 seats in there. Like, come on, get real.
And they're counting all the workers.
Exactly. The workers, the chick at the popcorn stand, the dude scalping the tickets outside. They're counting all those fucking people. They're making up chairs, 3-for-1 deals. You know, all you WWE stands out there who are like, WWE is so great. Remember, WWE could barely fill a fucking building. They were giving away tickets to get people to come in there. Remember that. Drew, what's your Twitter?
My Twitter is, I'll change I haven't, for some reason I've been keeping Drew Nicholas and not I would always have my Twitter there, but I'm going to change it right now. Wait, my caps lock was on, so that just fucked everything up. My apologies. There we go, right there. At Big Money
Drew. And their shows were still sellouts. Look, point I'm making is this. You literally have the keys to the kingdom. You're a viable opponent for the WWE to the point where they were sweating. They were sweating you. Continue doing what you're doing. Stop the bickering, the fighting. Sit down like grown men. Hash this out. Ace Steel, bro, I gotta say this about Ace Steel. You defended your boy. That's cool. You defended your boy. I don't know if your wife was in the room. I mean, but me personally, if my wife, my girlfriend, my kids, whatever, were in that room, and some dudes rushed that room like that, I beat their ass too. That's just game recognizing game, brother. But this has to stop. This has got to stop.
Yeah.
Every day, there's like great wrestling news, and for the last 3 days, there's been some really shitty fucking wrestling news. I mean, dude, let's call it what it is. CM Punk is the AEW World Champion. He has the hottest feud going. Well, yeah, for now. He has the hottest feud going with the hottest young athlete in all of professional wrestling right now, MJF. The biggest story out of this whole show should have been MJF coming back as the Joker. That should have been the big. Oh my God, Full Gear is coming up. Is it going to be CM Punk versus the Joker? Is it going to be John Moxley versus the Joker? That was what it was last week. Now it's like, oh, who's going to jail? Who hit someone in the eye with a chair? Whose mom is getting sued? Why is Colt Cabana slipping in someone's basement? Who fucking cares about that personal shit?
Right.
It's time to get back to what you do best. Wrestling.
I'm hoping that the last 2 days have been, well, hadn't even technically been a full 48 hours yet. Let's say last day and a half since the brawl was broken up. People have reflected on what happened and really, decide, hey, let's make amends. We are the hottest fucking thing being talked about right now, usurping anything in wrestling right now is the story. Let's make money off of it.
Bro, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
That's a great phrase, actually. I love that phrase.
True.
If it doesn't,
Shout out
doesn't
to
make money, doesn't make
Ashley
sense.
Rose Nova, who put me up on this saying right here. Heat puts meat in the seats. Bro, can't say no better than that. Heat puts meat in the sheets.
And there's some,
because trust me,
real heat right now.
All this heat right now, man, the devil's like, yo, it's fucking hot up there.
We joke about the Bully Ray, that's heat comment, and that meme of him with his face and the temperature gauge.
Yeah.
This is some real heat. This could do lots of money if done properly. Lots of money.
Let's just hope everybody can get their hair out of their ass.
People have to put their massive egos aside and listen. All 5 people, if you want to include Hangman, but he wasn't part of the brawl. So all 4 people involved. I don't give a shit about Ace Steel. Sorry, I didn't even know who he was up until a week ago. But all 4 people I am a fan of. I'm a fan of the Bucks. I'm a fan of Kenny. I'm a fan of Punk. Magic has been made with CM Punk throughout this year. People, the first dance was magical. It was magical. This can't be the way that it ends.
Right.
Because I'll tell you now, I could never watch the first dance again if Punk's gone from AEW this way, especially in this way. If it's not just it's been 3-4 years and it's time to hang it up and final match and all that stuff. If he can't swallow his pride, get out of his own way and make amends, apologize to the locker room, and do business here, I have lost respect for him. I'm sorry. I've lost respect for him. And the first dance will never be the same again. It will be tarnished. It'll be totally tarnished. And it is something that is on nearly every sane, not like Jobber or Gareth or those idiots, those ridiculous people. It's on every sane wrestling fan's top 5 moments in wrestling of the modern era. For it to end this way totally tarnishes that.
It does. And for all that, I'll just fucking leave and go somewhere else. Don't forget, it's also the grass isn't really green on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it.
Yeah.
Water the fucking grass. Stop being bitches.
Well, yeah,
Let's
and
go. Let's fucking go.
That was an MJF comment from Punk in the scrum, actually. It's
Mhm.
like, oh, yeah, the grass isn't always greener. And he likes to shit where I forgot what he said, it's like shit on the grass instead of watering it, something like that. I feel like when he was mentioning MJF in the scrum, he was trying to sell an angle with MJF. But,
what?
The Colt Cabana stuff and the EVP stuff happened, so it's like there's no point in selling an angle right now. Well, I'm sorry, I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
No. You're saying exactly what I was gonna say. There really is no point for an angle if these guys can't get their shit together.
Right, because if this leads to Punk quitting or getting fired, All Out, there was no point in All Out. There was no point in MJF's return. There was no point in the first dance. There was no point to any of CM Punk's time in AEW.
Maybe Tony should suspend them all. I mean, shit. You know what? The locker room is divided. And the only way you can fix a divide is not by firing someone, not by getting rid of someone, not by changing someone's job. Maybe if you sat down with that individual on a one-on-one basis and figured out hold on.
Okay. That was random. So I'm sorry that there's a Facebook user. I don't know what your name is. We popped up your thing before you're on Facebook, and for whatever reason, Facebook user says Facebook user. But you said, but will this bring fans still? That's a difficult question because I'm sure within wrestling right now, this is everything all right? You all
Sorry,
good?
that was weird. Yeah.
I was just addressing the Facebook user comment, but will this bring fans still?
Honestly, will it?
I don't.
Good question.
I don't think I think it brings eyes. I don't think it brings that many fans. Only because this is just a lose-lose situation. I don't see any type of positivity out of this right now, at least. Timothy Simmons, welcome.
Tim,
Thank you for being here.
thank you very much, Tim. Do me a favor, Tim. Go to twitch.tv/Roundtable Pro Wrestling PLD. That way we can get your name all the time.
So I don't think anybody becomes a fan from this, but I think it will bring more eyes, which leads right to Bebe's thing. Do you think ratings will be higher on Wednesday? Abso-fucking-lutely. I will be, honestly,
This might be the best show they do.
I will be floored and concerned. I will be floored and concerned if this show did not pull at least a 1.1 in the rating. I will be like,
Wow.
I'll be like, uh-oh.
Wow.
At least
Man.
a 1.1.
Shit. Wow.
Because, I mean, you think about it. This is the hottest subject in wrestling right now. Clash at the Castle happened. Worlds Collide happened. Raw and NXT tonight happened. This is the topic that has gotten Fightful Select from 9,700 subscribers to 10,500 subscribers in 48 hours. This is what everybody on wrestling Twitter is talking about. Everybody.
Yeah, it's literally my Twitter has not stopped blowing up. It was to the point where I had to turn off my notifications last night because it was going crazy.
Everybody is talking about this. So if they don't do at least a 1.1 tomorrow, that's insane and worrying. And that should be a bad sign for Tony Khan. I would take that as a bad sign. Wouldn't you?
I would take that as a very bad sign. If they don't do at least if they don't do a 1.0, dude, something is fucking wrong. Like,
Yeah. Well, I only said 1.1 because they had been doing 1.0 as of
Yeah.
late.
That's what I'm saying though. But if they can't do 1.0, problems.
Yeah. Well,
Huge
right.
problems. Yeah, I know
Yeah, they
NXT
can't
will do
even
tonight.
scratch
I
a
know
million.
that.
That's an issue.
Yeah. Especially with this type of drama now going on. If you can't do it, something's wrong.
I
But
could
with that being
see
said,
the problem is
with
though
that being
that I
said, I'm
can
gonna
see
go
I can
ahead.
see this turning people off.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. And this being
And
said, I
I
can see people just not wanting to deal with it.
and I told you today, flat out. I didn't say this on Twitter really, but I told you today. I'll say it publicly now. I was very concerned about my enjoyment for Grand Slam in a few weeks because of the storyline pretty much being. I mean, I've said Punk either quitting or getting fired, but there's also him being suspended, which was just mentioned in the chat by somebody. The King of Indies. So that is also a possibility. I would say it's probably the most likely possibility, but even though my gut still says he either quit or was fired, because unless people are like in the wrestling media kind of blowing it out of proportion, which isn't their fault, it's my fault for taking it that way. That's what a lot of people in who criticize wrestling media don't understand is when people are vague about these things, they're being vague because they need to sell their website. They need to like this is a thing. This is a business at the end of the day. Fightful Select is a business. PW Insider is a business. The Observer is a business. You can't just be like, oh yeah, so this thing is happening, blah blah blah, whatever. You got to build up anticipation for it. So I totally I made a tweet this morning when emojis and vagueness were starting, like around noon. That like I had said at the time, oh yeah, in an hour something is going to drop, but everybody's going to be vague about it. But it wasn't an hour; it was much longer than that. But in the tweet, I said for that full 60 minutes until the news drops, everything is going to be a vague tweet from everybody that's in the know about the business and had people, friends and sources in companies. So
I mean, even I was getting text messages and I was telling you what I was getting. And ladies and gentlemen, I got messages from right from the fucking source. Like right from the source. And they were being super vague. And I'm like, dude, just tell me. When they were like, I can't say anything about it right now because of legal issues. And then an hour later, that's when Sean Ross Sapp confirmed that there might be legal issues. So this person was trying to tell me what's going on without telling me what's going on. This whole issue has been, I mean, honestly, I'm going to say this right here on the show. If this is a fucking work and this whole thing never really happened, and they're just trying to like boost like buy rates or boost fucking eyes on their product, I'll stop covering AEW. I will stop covering AEW. family and friends that work there, I would just stop covering the whole company because
Yeah, they'll
you
put
don't
a
play with the
really bad
fans like that.
they put a really bad taste in my mouth for sure.
Yes,
Um,
that's what she
and
said.
uh, you always have to bring it there. See, that's not me.
Hey,
Not me.
man.
It's always him. It's always him. Um, I did mention Jake something though, so you're well within your right. But anyway, yeah, it will leave a really bad taste in my mouth if this ended up being work all along. But it's not though. Like it's just it's too it's too much of a high level thing to be a work at this point. And
Yeah, now it's out of control.
I trust the people that have reported on it. Well, I mean, I trust Sean Rossat more than I trust Dave Meltzer. Um, but oh, we got some more stuff going on. Wow, a lot of stuff going on. We should do these. We should do these more. Thank you so much, King of the Indies.
Yeah, King of the Indies. Fucking, let's see who else has done some of this stuff.
A lot of people did. It seems. King of the Indies redeemed points. Throwback redeemed points.
Annie King. Let's see. Throwback.
It's all like jumbled, so it's hard to read.
Yeah, yeah. I can't. For some reason, I can't copy it off Twitch to the StreamYard, so I just copied it all. Put it in there. Give everybody their flowers. Boom.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yes. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. It's awesome to have you guys here.
After we talked this afternoon, I felt a little better about going to Grand Slam. But I hadn't at that point felt yet that Punk was either quitting or being fired. Now I feel that way, and that ruins the MJF storyline for me, and then I'm really bummed out, and I don't really want to go anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that sucks too because that's something that you really would enjoy. You know what I mean? Like you were so hyped for like when we were watching the live event, you were so hyped for it, and then this crap.
I
just
bought
came
my
and just-
ticket because of it.
Yeah, you like literally was buying your ticket online as we were doing the stream. So
Yeah.
I mean,
when the Joker thing happened, because I knew it was MJF. We talked about it. It's like his movements, the way he got in the ring. You know, my gaze on Twitter mentioned, you know, his ass being the way that it is. It's just the way that it looks. I didn't notice it, so don't come at me. My other gay friends noticed that and pointed it out. It was like his it was I said it earlier. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. I didn't know because I think I had said I was on the Fightful Select preview for Worlds Collide and for All Out, and everyone pretty much came to an agreement that MJF being the Joker wasn't a good idea. Because it's just MJF comes, you know, his music plays, and then he's involved in the match and whatever, and he ended up winning. It's like, okay, that's cool. He won the chip, but it's not like it's a moment, it's a big moment, but it's not a major moment. But they made it a major moment the way that they did it. Coming out to the Symphony of the Devil, I think, or Sympathy of the Devil, whatever the name of the song is.
it was all like a masterful storytelling. That's pretty much what it was. Masterful storytelling. Because man, they brought back so many like Easter eggs they dropped over the course of the last like 6-7 months. You know what I mean? Great.
Right.
So great.
And it was and just from that moment, I was in awe. And I bought my Grand Slam ticket because of it. live on the air, and now I'm concerned because it's look, Eddie Kingston got suspended for just shoving Sammy in his face.
Yes.
This is a all-out brawl that happened backstage. Someone is getting suspended.
Better get suspended.
You've you've already set a precedent with Eddie Kingston. I almost said Eddie Guerrero for some reason. You've already set a precedent with Eddie Kingston. You can't let this go. Somebody's got to get suspended. You come so this is if I was Tony Khan and I asked you, okay, I would I would hold an investigation, find out who started this, and that person is getting suspended. But I feel like Punk, because of the way he just went off in the scrum, I feel like he needs to get suspended too. Because that was totally uncalled for. It technically is what started everything. But if the Bucks and Kenny went to his door and started banging on it and trying to kick it down, they deserve to be suspended for that.
That's why I said no one is innocent. No one is fucking innocent in this whole thing. They're all fucking guilty, dude. All of them. Every last one of them.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like the fall guy in this would end up being Ace Steel. Ace Steel probably would get fired. And I don't blame them for doing that. I feel like that's probably the right thing to do. But yeah, I mean, it's a totally crazy thing. So I'm glad I'm not Tony Khan. That's for sure.
Man, at the end of the day, Tony Khan has to deal with this shit. And Tony, if I were you, I would deal with this shit right away. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this impromptu discussion. Two guys just hanging out, talking about the drama and professional wrestling. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. AW Dynamite, or will there be a Dynamite? Who fucking knows? That right there is the fucking. That's the question. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, guys. Thank you for joining us here on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. You can go like, and subscribe. Find us on twitch.tv/Roundtable Pro Wrestling POD for our mod for Big Money Drew. I am the franchise, and we will see you guys tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do us a favor. Go like, and subscribe. Hit that tier button. Hit that bell, because you never know when we're going to go live. Tell your friends. We're awesome. Bye.